Hello and welcome to Politics Tonight, where we dig and go beyond the headlines for informed analysis of major political stories in Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. With less than 21 days to the conduct of the 2023 general election, the race to the polls is becoming more frenetic. President Muhammadu Buhari asked citizens to give him 7 days to resolve the Naira scarcity generating crisis in the country. On the interview segments for today, we will examine the success, failures, and political dimension of Nigeria redesign policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, with the founder and managing director of Cowry Asset Management Limited, Johnson Chukwu, as our guest. Welcome to Politics Tonight. Stay with us and we will be right back. Welcome back to the program. President Muhammadu Buhari has asked citizens to give him 7 days to resolve the Naira scarcity that has generated crisis in the country. At a meeting with the Progressive Governors Forum in Abuja, President Buhari said the currency redesign will boost the economy and provide long-term benefits, but doubts the commitment of banks to the success of the policy. The president promised to revert to the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, and the minting company for him to take any decision. Earlier, the Progressive Governors Forum visited the president to seek solutions to the cash scarcity and the attendant crisis, which they say is threatening the good records of the administration in transforming the economy. Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje, who spoke after the meeting, insists the timeline for the Naira redesign policy is too short, thereby causing untold hardship for citizens, especially people in rural areas who do not have access to banks or any financial service.
Shifted, not only shifted, but the old currency should go along with the new currency until the old currency dies a natural death, which is possible.
The Taraba State chapter of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has reacted to the Supreme Court judgment that reaffirmed Kafa Sule as the duly elected candidate of the party for the 2023 governorship election in the state. The party described the judgment as triumph of democracy. Speaking to journalists after the court verdict, the State Publicity Secretary of PDP in the state said judiciary has reaffirmed that the party under Governor Darius Ishaku followed guidelines and electoral laws in the conduct of the primaries that produced Kefa Sagu, insisted that the unfortunate litigations that trailed the transparent processes were normal but avoidable. The party calls on those that took the options of litigation to accept the decisions of the courts in good faith and join hands with Kefas to ensure victory for the PDP in the coming elections.
By the singular pronouncement of the court, we as a party have been vindicated. Our primary election that threw up our candidate in May last year has been given that tacit endorsement. We are happy, and of course we are poised for the forthcoming presidential and governorship election across Nigeria. As a party, we're delighted that Tarawa will enjoy our administration again.
Only call I have for the youth is they should give the KFOS a maximum support for the development of our state, because I've seen a good mission with KFOS. KFOS is the only person that will lead us to the promised land. It's going to take us from where the rescue mission have stopped. So we should give him the 100 support for us to see a positive change in the state.
All right, let's take a short break, and when we return, it will be time to speak with the founder and managing director of Cowry Asset Management Limited, Johnson Chukwu, on the success, failures, and political dimension of Naira redesign policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Politics Tonight, digging beyond the headlines. And now to our interview with the guest of the day. I am now joined by the founder and managing director of Carry Asset Management Limited, Johnson Chukwu, is also the chairman of Standard Alliance Insurance PLC, that of Fidelity Pension Managers Limited, and Virgin Forest Energy Limited. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. Good evening.
Good evening. All right, before we move into the nitty-gritty of this discussion, what is the primary purpose of redesigning any currency?
Well, there are several reasons why a country will redesign its currency. Let me start from the mundane. Today, Britain is redesigning its currency and changing the face of Queen Elizabeth to King Charles. So that could be as mundane as it could be. There are other economic reasons why a country wants to redesign its currency. It could be that the existing currency has not been subjected to counterfeiting because some of the security features have become common to counterfeiters, and therefore you want to strengthen the security features of the currency. The other factors could be that the country wants to introduce a new concept to the currency. For instance, when Nigeria began to introduce the heads of our former leaders into our currency, if you recall, there was a time when Nigerian currency, Naira, did not have anybody's head. So there are several reasons. There could also be other economic reasons of what the central bank governor has professed, such as the need to better bring back a lot more of the currency into the banking system and enhance monetary policy management. And there are social issues or social reasons, which could include the issue of limiting the volume of cash transactions in an economy and forcefully encouraging what we call cashless policy of the central bank, as well as possibly the need to discourage people who receive cash for criminal activities like kidnapping and other criminal engagement, so that they won't have access to cash. Like I said, there are multiplicity of reasons why a country might want to redesign its currency.
All right, so to further buttress your point, one of the reasons given by the CBN governor, Gordon Emefiele, for embarking on this currency redesign is hoarding of banknotes by members of the public, with statistics showing that more than 80% of currency in circulation were outside the vaults of the banks. Now, to what extent has this been checked?
Well, in the first place, if the currency redesign goes on successfully, it then means that those who have kept those old currencies, the bank would, outside the banking system, would have had the opportunity to bring it back into the banking system. And clearly, what the central bank needs to now gauge is the level of actual Naira notes that is required to keep the economy working efficiently. So if, for instance, the central bank say that they observed that only about 500 billion Naira was actually in circulation within the banking system, and the rest were outside the banking system, then means that probably the volume of Naira notes that we need for our normal commercial transactions may just be slightly above 500 or around 500 billion Naira. So that could inform the decision of the central bank to forcefully compel people to bring back the Naira notes outside the banking system. Again, like I said, one of the reasons could be that if you have a lot of money outside your banking system, then monetary policies will become ineffective, because the transmission channel in the banking system is through the bank that you manage the level of liquidity in the economy. But if the entire liquidity is outside the banking system, then whatever you do with the monetary policies in terms of increasing cash reserve ratio or reducing cash reserve ratio, increasing the monetary policy rate, will have no impact on the general economy. But as it stands today, if the central bank succeeds in bringing back a lot of so-called cash outside the banking system, then it would have succeeded in possibly improving the effectiveness of monetary policies.
All right, so, according to global best practices, and just like you also mentioned, one of the primary purposes of redesigning a currency is security. But having looked at the new notes, can you say they are resistant to counterfeiting?
Well, the interesting thing is that the new notes, I don't think the central bank has come out to pronounce its core security features other than the obvious one that we are there in the previous notes. So I wouldn't say that it is now prone to counterfeiting. Again, because even the circulation is highly limited, if you have a very crafty counterfeiter, and because most people do not even know the features of the current notes, they can actually circulate counterfeited copies side by side with the correct note, because neither you nor I, or probably let me be specific, I do not know the features of the colored new designed currency note other than their color. So if I happen to come across a fake new currency note, I may not be able to decipher the difference between it and the original or genuine notes. So, and that could be a problem. So I cannot say with any sense of responsibility that the new notes are counterfeit proof, and that nothing can ever happen to them until we know the futures and the general public know the future that are observed by eyes. So that if you pick a new note, you can actually, by virtue of observation, by virtue of test, physical test of the money or feel, determine if it's genuine or not. But now, I guess most Nigerians are not in position to know that.
All right, Mr. Johnson Chukwu, at this point, we need to take a quick break. When we come back, we will continue our discussion. Please stay with us.